How's it going, everybody? The Seer here, and today we have the new season rules for the upcoming season 14, but also the Ultimate 32 that you see on screen. Now, the Ultimate 32 is very controversial. Some people love it, some people weren't fans of it. So please let me know in the comments section whether you are happy about the Ultimate 32 returning or you're not happy about it. Don't just like go on a rant saying, F this, that's terrible, I don't want the Ultimate 32. Please be mindful in your responses, because if you just kind of go on the rant, then they're not going to take the feedback into consideration. I do plan to pass along all of the positive, all of the negative regarding that Ultimate 32, so that way we can try to get a better off season, if you will, because it looks like between seasons, they're going to be doing stuff like this, where they're going to be adjusting the room rules. The Ultimate 32 is going to be that 5 days, 3 rooms on there, and that is what it is. I'm hoping we can try to pass on and give as much feedback as possible regarding this. So with that, let's go ahead and read this blog. We don't really need to read the top portion. Basically what it's saying up here is it's going to be 3 stages, 6 attacks per room. It's going to go from 1,000 to 800 to 600, 400, 200, and then 0 as far as the points that will be on the Ultimate 32. Now, as far as the room rules go, Season 14, I'm very, very excited for that. There are so many interesting rooms on there to really play around and get some very, very cool theory crafting, get your juices flowing as far as what we could do on there. So I am looking forward to doing some defense videos for you guys as far as, hey, these things could be very interesting in those types of rooms. Make sure that you end up joining me on Twitch as well, because I will be streaming the Season 14 rules within an hour after this video gets uploaded. So go ahead, jump on there, watch that 5C tournament, and go ahead and root me on. So for the Ultimate 32, now some of these rules are going to be what's in the Season 14, so it gives you a little preview taste of what's to come. The global rules, there's nothing fancy on here. It's just the standard 20% max health, 10% damage with the exhaust. Stage 1 is Glass Cannon. This one here is defense and offense. Striker characters will spawn with Safeguard. They're going to get a negative 90% to the max health. They will be gaining 100% extra damage, and they spawn with Deathproof. Now, if you don't remember, the last Ultimate 32 season, the 3rd room had that 100% extra damage, and when you basically pushed Thanos endgame, it was just game over. It deleted your entire team. So imagine that, where that person basically has the Safeguard, has the Deathproof, so it's going to be very easy to push them. That's going to be very interesting. Drawback for this: Phoenix Force is going to walk over this. Now, they're not going to have the Safeguard. You're not going to get trauma. So basically, they're just going to be wide open to where you could get rid of those Deathproofs and just one-shot those Striker characters. So do be mindful of that. Fortifier characters, they're going to be spawning in with taunts. So some interesting things that could end up doing that is the Odinati team, for instance, make Captain Britain a Fortifier, so he has that pre-taunt, then that basically means you don't need that Sasquatch on the team, and they can kind of really mess around with the Odinati team. That's could be very dangerous in there, and I think that's going to kind of what ends up happening with this room. Stage 2 is Toxic. This one here is very interesting. You want to play around with characters that go slow, essentially, and make your opponent kind of kill themselves. So defense and offense. On that character's turn, attack self for 15% of that character's max health. This damage reduces the max health of that character by the same amount. So basically, the Mephisto, how he has the health decay, basically the perma damage on there. Every turn that somebody takes, they're going to be hitting themselves for 15% max damage, and it's just going to take their health bar away. So very interesting for that one. Stage 3 is Take a Moment. On offense only for this one. Lower the focus by 5,000%. Damage by 50% for any non-Mephisto character that takes a turn before any character on defense. This one's very interesting as well. You want slow characters on this room. That way your opponent is going to be having that negative effects on there of the 5,000% focus where they can't flip anything, and they're going to be doing basically offense down attacks on your team. So very interesting rooms on here. It's not going to make that big of a difference, I think, for the Ultimate 32, because we're going to have so much offense to play with that the defense is just going to get sacked on there. So that's the unfortunate thing about the Ultimate 32. So I regress. As far as Season 14 rooms go, so the global rule is going to be for the Starjammers, shocker. On piercing damage, they're going to be applying bleed. So there are some characters on here that do the piercing damage, but for the bleed, it's not exciting on there. Oh, accidentally scrolled down. It's not really exciting, so it really isn't going to do anything. Now, the Starjammers did end up getting a huge rework. I'm hoping to have a video out before you guys watch this one, so you can kind of look at the Starjammers changes and kind of my reaction and my take on what the Starjammers mean to Cosmic Crucible. Now, on defense, these are the standard defense rules. 20% max health, 10% damage, gain exhaust on there. As far as the room rules, stage 1 is going to be that glass cannon that we just went over. There's going to be certain dynamics on here. I have a feeling the offense portion will be using the striker. The defense portion is going to be using the fortifier portion to kind of get different characters on there as a pre-taunt. I think that's going to be kind of how it ends up happening. For stage 2 turtle shell, we saw this one on the last Ultimate 32. This is the gain 50% max barrier. On spawn, barrier self for 100% that character's max health. Gain 100% damage, just like it was on the previous time. So we have 2 rooms on here to play with that 100% damage. That's insane. On allied death, barrier self for 100% of that character's max health. Teams that we had in here before were going to be like the Annihilators. Basically, Thanos gets pushed and just does that 100% damage. And we had other support characters like Odin and Mephisto, stuff like that, to really cause other threats. Anybody that had the new stats, especially with the G20 now in the game, this is going to be very dangerous. And with Overpowered coming in, again, very dangerous for stage 1 and 2 to where you could just wipe without even taking a turn. Stage 3 is Toxic. We went over this one already. That was the stage 2 for the Ultimate 32. Stage 4 is the Take a Moment. We went over this one as well. That was the stage 3. So stage 3 and stage 4, look for slower characters. For stage 3, I think that Scarlet Witch or Wanda Revenge team, where it's the Retaliate team, that could be very interesting in stage 3 to where that's a slow enough team to where the teams on offense is going to start beating themselves up with that. And then Agatha or Scarlet Witch will just wipe the opponent out. That's kind of what I'm looking to possibly do with stage 3. Stage 4, as far as Take a Moment goes, again, I want a slow team in here. That way they can't flip anything. They're going to be doing less damage. And then you want to punch them back in the mouth right afterwards. Now, this ain't any non-Mephisto character. So Mephisto, he's going to be fine in this room. So anything that goes on defense, try to see teams on here that Mephisto, it's going to be kind of a wasted attack if they do use that Mephisto, if that makes sense. Stage 5 is another mutant room on here, mutant immune system. We've done this one in the past. This is like the least interesting room. However, we have Professor X coming to the game. The Professor Xavier is going to be about 26 or 27 days away in game when the saga launches, which means about halfway through the season, if you're at the top end of Cosmic Crucible, you're going to start seeing Professor Xavier's in there, and you better believe he's going to end up in the stage 5 room. So what happens in here? On turn, clear all negative effects from himself, heal for 10% of the max health for each negative effect cleared. All characters on turn gain defense down. So this right here is that we had this one several seasons ago, like when the Limited X-Men, I think it was around when the Limited X-Men was the meta. I don't think Extreme X-Men was out at that time. Basically, Rogue would have all these negative effects, then she'd heal all the way back up, and Gambit would end up having all these negative effects. He would heal all the way back up. So it's very interesting back then. Bringing this back when Professor Xavier's coming out, this is going to be a nightmare in the future, so be on the lookout for this one. Stage 6, this is the Dorky Dad room. Now, from my understanding, this wasn't the exact room rules that he wanted on here when I was talking to him about this. He did want a Spider-Man themed because that's what his son wanted. Total respect for that. I love that. So Spider-Man's web trap. On defense and offense, all characters, speed bar cannot be increased or decreased. So like Super Skrull, Old Man Logan, anything that gets a speed bar increase or decrease with turn meter stuff isn't going to happen. Characters with speed up is going to get a negative 50% speed. Characters with slow they're going to get a 50% increase to their speed. So it's a very interesting dynamic as far as what you want to use in here. Now, when I was kind of looking as far as what you want to avoid in this room, so avoidable teams or characters to go in here. Illuminati's not going to be great. Liberty's not going to be great because I Captain Sam. Orcus, he puts slow on the other side of the field. They're going to be going faster, you're going to be going slower. Immortal X-Men, Storm puts slow on the other side of the field. Superior 6, Green Goblin Classic gets turn meter. Apocalypse, when he goes to the Empowered after the Ultimate, that's turn meter increase. Kahori, 200% turn meter. Not going to happen. Old Man Logan, not going to happen. This room just shuts down so many teams. This is going to decide whether you win or lose your Crucible, in my opinion, as far as what you end up putting in here. So be on the lookout for stage 6. Another very important room is going to be 5 when Professor Xavier comes out. I think stage 3 is going to be a huge efficiency sink on here. So that's going to be very interesting. You might be able to pull a few things away. Stage 1 and 2 is going to be Nightmare as well. Funny enough, stage 4, it's going to be very interesting, but I don't think you're going to win or lose your Crucible by stage 4. But that's still 4 rooms that's going to be very, very dangerous for us. So, and one that's going to be a nightmare once Professor Xavier comes out. But let me know what you guys think. Again, if you give me any feedback about Ultimate 32, I will pass that on. Just be constructive about your feedback. Just don't go like on a rant saying this is garbage, this is terrible. Give me reasons why so I can lay a foundation to say, hey, people aren't happy about Ultimate 32 or they are happy about Ultimate 32. So again, be civil. And hopefully you guys did enjoy this video. If you did, please remember to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Until next time, have one for the rest of the day.